Tonight, a murder suspect's words to police after the death of her husband. A court hears more evidence at the Elfgard Oughtred trial. Care worker charged in the death of a supportive living resident.
It's a sudden death of one of the residents in the home. As a result of an investigation into that death, police have charged the developmental support worker.
The investigation and criminal charges in St. Mary's. Plus, when showing up helps make the grade. Reaction to the province's plan to tie attendance to achievement. Good evening. The Crown has closed its case at the second-degree murder trial of Elfgard Oughtred, accused of killing her husband Gordon at their home in Brant County in 2022. The jury spent much of today watching a video of Elfgard after her arrest, where she continued to deny any involvement. CTV's Krista Simpson is back from the courthouse in Brantford and joins us now with more. Krista.
Tony, the day she was arrested, Elfgard and a police detective constable spoke for more than 2 hours. Because of the length of the video, we don't yet have a copy, so we will describe what was shown in court. On July 9th, 2024, more than a year and a half after her husband Gordon was found dead in their Brant County home, Elfgard Oughtred was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Tuesday, the jury watched a video recording of her statement to police that day. She maintains she did not kill Gordon. Detective Constable Peter Brujic lays out some of the evidence against her, saying it's been proven she was lying in past statements to police. Brujic says surveillance footage shows her distinctive orange Jeep driving towards Brantford around 11:30 the morning of Gordon's death, much later than the 8:30 a.m. departure from home she originally described to police. Brujic also shows Elfgard photos of the crime scene showing Gordon's half-eaten bowl of cereal, suggesting he was killed during his breakfast. So you're there when this takes place, Brujic says. No, Elfgard replies. Brujic says Gordon's blood was found in a bag in the back of Elfgard's Jeep. She contends it was there because his blood got on her hands when she and a neighbor called 911 for help and were told to turn Gordon's body around. And afterwards, she went to the vehicle and touched the bag. Brujic says nothing was taken from the home. There is nothing disturbed from that scene. Nothing was stolen. It was somebody who was close to him. It was somebody who he trusted, Brujic says. He says he's also aware Gordon could be, in his words, nasty at times, and he drank a lot. Brujic says he knows Gordon wasn't happy with Elfgard's gambling habits and had heard of a conversation where he said if she went to the casino again, she would have to move out. I think Gordon was making some serious threats, and I think you thought this was your only way out, Brujic tells Elfgard. Brujic also says in the nearly 2-year-long investigation into Gordon's death, Elfgard has never had questions of investigators. Because you know what happened, Elfie, he says. No, I don't, Elfgard replies. Yes, you do, Brujic says. In cross-examination, Elfgard's lawyer noted that Brujic was brought on to help with the case in 2024, after investigators had already identified Elfgard as a suspect in Gordon's death. The Crown's final witness was a biologist from the Centre of Forensic Sciences, testifying about DNA evidence, including bloodstains found on the steering wheel of Elfgard's Jeep and that reusable shopping bag found in the back seat. The judge told jurors she doesn't anticipate any further evidence will be called in this trial and that they should return on Wednesday afternoon, expecting to hear the lawyers give their closing arguments. Tony.
Krista, thank you. CTV's Krista Simpson with the latest on that trial. A care worker is facing criminal charges over the death of a resident at a supportive living home in St. Mary's. CTV's Colton Weens tells us about the investigation and the arrest.
A developmental support worker is facing 2 charges after a 40-year-old woman died last month at a supportive living residence in St. Mary's. Emergency responders were called to a residence that is owned and operated by Community Living St. Mary's and area on March 11th.
The result of the call was a sudden death of one of the residents in the home. As a result of an investigation into that death, police have charged the developmental support worker was at that home in care of the individual who passed away.
According to police, Perth County paramedics tried to save the woman's life, but she was pronounced dead shortly after police officers arrived. On Monday, police announced a support worker has been charged with criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessaries of life.
The worker was arrested on April 1st and was released on an undertaking.
Community Living says the staff member involved is no longer with the organization, and after reviewing their procedures and protocols, they can confirm there is no ongoing risk to the health or safety of anyone the organization supports.
This was an isolated incident. There is no further cause of concern for anybody in the care of Community Living.
In an email to CTV News, Community Living's executive directors say upon learning of this incident, we took immediate steps to respond, including notifying the appropriate authorities and the family of the individual involved. We fully cooperated with the authorities as they investigated the matter. While the chair of the agency's board of directors tells CTV News the investigation focused on the conduct of the individual staff member who is no longer with the organization, saying on behalf of the board of directors, we wish to share our condolences with the family of the community member who passed away, as well as our own grief at this loss. The worker charged in the death is expected to appear in Stratford Court on May 11th. Colton Weens, CTV News, St. Mary's.
Time for a first check on the weather. Let's join Ashley Bacon here in the studio with all of the warm details. Now, I heard that there was a little bit of everything today, so
yes,
the stormier side of that must have happened before I woke up. But I'll tell you, there was a lot of lightning when I went to bed last night.
Oh, Tony, I'm impressed if you slept through all the storms last night. In total, Rob Kuhn from Environment Canada telling me that we had around 5 thunderstorms roll through the region through the overnight hours and into this morning. So if you were able to sleep through that, kudos to you. But I hope you're ready for round 2, because we are getting another round of storms coming through our region overnight. A special weather statement has been issued again from Environment Canada. Another 20 to 40 millimeters of rain is expected. Of course, the ground is so saturated. We have to be careful with low-lying areas for flooding concerns. If you're normally in a spot that usually sees some flooding issues, you may want to pay attention the next few hours for all the rain that is bet to come. Good news is it's looking like the heaviest part of the rain will start to subside by tomorrow morning, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods. We are expecting rain continuously through the rest of the week. Right now, if we take a look at the satellite, it's not too bad. We're still seeing a few little spotted showers there, but as I said, Tony, brace for it because we are in for another wet night ahead.
There's lots on the go this week. Okay, Ash, thank you very much. A man is dead after an early morning break-in that turned violent in Ajax. Tonight, police say they're still searching for suspects. CTV's Janice Golding has more.
Police tape surrounds a home near Harwood and Taunton and Ajax, the scene of a violent attack early this morning.
It's terrible. I couldn't believe what he was doing. When he said, my son stepped to death in the morning, I couldn't believe it.
Family friends telling CTV News the victim in this case, a man in his mid-20s, whom they have identified as Sanjula Pereira.
I said, what happened? Just saw a lot of cars outside your home. My son was stabbed to death this morning.
Neighbors like Prasoon Srivastava say the victim's father informed friends and family this morning about what happened.
I know him for some time, actually, because he was around, walking here and there. And I couldn't believe that this could happen.
Durham Regional Police say the call originally came in as a break and enter in progress, and when they arrived, they found an adult male suffering from traumatic injuries.
Cops are still resuscitating or trying to make sure whoever passed or what happened was still okay.
Tavishi Srivastava arrived home next door around 12:45 a.m., just minutes after the attack.
I think this is really scary and very unfortunate for the family.
Police say they believe the incident was not actually a home invasion as was originally reported.
Based on the preliminary information that our investigators have, we do believe it was targeted.
Still, neighbors say they're alarmed.
We are very shocked and now also worried.
Yeah, we have kids, 3 kids at home. It's very, very scary.
Neighbors say the victim worked with cars and could often be seen with high-end vehicles in the driveway.
I used to see all these cool cars coming in and out of the driveway all the time.
He was into some car modeling or something.
While police will not say what the motive in this attack was, they say more than one suspect fled the scene on foot, and despite an extensive search which included the canine unit, the suspects are still at large.
That report from CTV's Janice Golding in Ajax. More than 24 people are facing hundreds of charges after a lengthy investigation by York Regional Police into a series of break-ins. Investigators releasing these pictures of some of the things that they've recovered as part of a probe dubbed Project Fortis. They include designer bags, high-end watches, and jewelry. More than $2 million worth of valuables were found during the investigation that stretched from November to March. Police say it targeted crime groups responsible for 125 break-ins across the GTA. More than 300 charges have been filed against 33 people. Well, to deal with the ongoing issue of overcrowding at Ontario's jails, the province says it plans to build new correctional facilities. But critics argue that adding places to keep people locked up won't do anything to fix the backlog that's plaguing the court system. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
Ontario's setting out on an expensive building spree meant to add capacity to an overflowing jail system. Right now, Ontario has about 2,000 more inmates than beds.
I don't care if you stack them 10 high. These are criminals that broke the law.
The plan is for 6,000 more jail beds by 2050. That's according to documents obtained through Freedom of Information by University of Ottawa researchers.
My number one concern is making sure we protect the correctional service officers that are in there. You know, I'm not building Four Seasons hotels for criminals that should be in jail.
The Premier says modular builds are on the table. Brand new jails and refurbishments are in the pipeline.
We're looking at reopening the Brantford jail and the Walkerton jail, and I'm close to having some news in the months ahead about that. That's going to bring hundreds of beds online.
Critics warn adding more beds won't fix all the problems in Ontario jails. Those facilities are mostly full of people still waiting for their day in court.
The government has completely failed to address overcrowding in jails because of their underinvestment in our court system. And as a result, a number of hardened criminals are getting out.
With judges acknowledging inhumane conditions behind bars when considering sentencing or granting bail.
And that's not safe for inmates or for correctional officers. I just question why this government never seems to look at any of the upstream solutions.
The expected multi-billion-dollar bill for more and expanded jails
will cost the government and taxpayers more money than if they would build supportive housing and treatment centers to help people.
Doug Ford is undeterred.
Those billions of dollars is well invested to make sure our communities are safe.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Newly acquired documents show Ontario's controversial Skills Development Fund gave a boilerplate rejection letter to a program to train high school students to work at the TTC. As CTV's John Woodward tells us, Ontario's opposition politicians are still looking for answers about the other places millions of dollars went.
Toronto's transit system has hundreds of tradespeople to keep everything running. But with a wave of retirement on the horizon, the agency pitched the Step Plus program to give 21 Toronto high school graduates a one-year apprenticeship while also being trained at Centennial College. Saying in its application, attracting young apprentices into the field is critical to maintain a healthy workforce for decades to come. The program's $2.6 million cost would come from the Ministry of Labour's $2.6 billion Skills Development Fund. But the ministry didn't bite. A brief rejection letter said the program was not selected for funding, and due to the large volume of applications received, the ministry is unable to offer individual debrief sessions.
It sounds like a great program to me.
NDP leader Marit Stiles said the program deserved more than a boilerplate rejection and pointed to the allegations behind the ethics investigation into the Minister of Labour, David Piccini.
The question you have to ask is did they get rejected because they didn't have a connection to the Conservative Party, to Doug Ford, to Dave Piccini?
We got that application through a Freedom of Information request to the TTC, which responded in under the legal deadline of 30 days. Meanwhile, our Freedom of Information requests to the Ministry of Labour about the Skills Development Fund haven't been responded to since September. That's about 7 times as long. Piccini says his staff are busy.
To compare the two is a bit unfair given the high volume that the government receives and the diligent work we do to make sure that individuals, organizations have their information protected.
Opposition leaders say that transparency should be crucial given where some of the money went.
$10 million for a strip club owner, a few $1 million for the family dentist. You know, the stench of the Skills Development Order is not going to be scrubbed off very easily.
Ontario's government is now poised to change its own FOI rules.
And that will restrict our ability to learn the details and depths of this particular scandal and other scandals.
That Step Plus program never happened, though the TTC says an older student training program is still operating. John Woodward, CTV News.
Well, next, more reaction to the sweeping changes the Ford government's planning to Ontario's education system. Along with limiting trustee powers and appointing someone to oversee school boards, the bill also plans to tie attendance levels to student grades. CTV's Karis Mapp is live now with more on this part of the story. So, Karis, improved grades just for showing up, how much would attendance be worth?
Tony, these changes would mean attendance would be worth 15% of a student's mark in grades 9 and 10 and 10% in grades 11 and 12.
Oh, I'm going to get my 15%. 100% class attendance, you know?
Waterloo Region students reacting to the government's plan to make attendance part of their final grades.
15% a lot, but I think it'll help students stop skipping and go to class. It can help with your grade if you're failing too.
The plan, making attendance at the province's English language boards worth 15% of a final grade in grades 9 and 10 and 10% in grades 11 and 12, was part of a slew of changes to the education system announced this week.
Final marks will also incorporate attendance and classroom participation, ensuring a more comprehensive and countable evaluation of student performance.
The education minister says absenteeism began creeping up before the pandemic and has yet to return to normal levels.
It absolutely reflects what teachers and high school teachers have told me would help them get better management of their classrooms, would help prepare their students for the real world.
Though some students say attendance isn't a big problem in their classrooms.
Yeah, there's like a couple kids.
Sometimes like the class is empty, but most of the time it's full.
A major teachers union calls this part of the bill low-hanging fruit.
We know that being in attendance is important. However, what's also important is members' professional judgment. There may be reasons students aren't coming to school.
And fears students from low-income families may suffer the most.
There were students that didn't come to school for quite some time in Renfrew County because there wasn't enough money for the buses to be operating.
Some students hoping the changes will generate deeper conversations about why students aren't coming to class.
A lot of people go through like bad mental health, especially like at our ages and everything. So like, I can't really like put a judge to it or anything, but sometimes teachers don't really look at it as like something to look at.
They go to school because it's a supportive environment, of an environment where they're not afraid of the bullying, of the violence. These are things that need to be addressed in our schools right now.
The attendance plan, part of the province's Putting Students Achievement First Act, has already hit second reading in the legislature, meaning it's only steps away from becoming law. The minister noting that there will be exceptions for these new attendance evaluation plans, such as when students are away for sanctioned sporting events and for religious and cultural observances. Tony.
Okay, Karis, thank you. CTV's Karis Mapp with the latest on those changes to the education system. Well, just ahead, Kitchener approves a renovation bylaw. CTV's Heather Senerin will tell us about the plan to help protect tenants from bad faith landlords.
Well, if you're a light sleeper, beware. A round of thunderstorms. Expect it to roll back through the region through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. Just how long will it last? I'll have those details coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
After years of discussion, the City of Kitchener has joined Waterloo in approving a so-called renovation bylaw, aiming to help protect tenants from bad faith landlords. CTV's Heather Senerin has details.
Is this bylaw truly too much for you to handle?
From passionate tenants.
Are you unwilling to give the strongest lifeline you can to renters who are just trying to keep their heads above water?
To worried landlords.
It's going to deter landlords from staying in the game, let alone ever investing again, because they're going to hear from other landlords that it's impossible to do any upgrades on your home.
In the end, by a narrow margin of 5-4, Kitchener City Council voted in favor of a new renovation bylaw.
So the
Bylaw carries.
And it's been a long time coming, so we're very happy with finally seeing it bear some fruit.
Acorn, a tenants' rights advocacy group, said the city is doing the right thing with this new bylaw that involves landlords having to go through a licensing process for any renovation that needs a tenant to leave the unit.
As well as to levy fines against landlords that kind of break the system or don't adhere to it properly. So it kind of acts as a bit of a filter for the necessity of a tenant to be displaced for major renovations.
City staff said implementing the new rules would cost about $300,000, which includes the hiring of 2 new full-time employees. Some councillors wondered if this is the best use of city money.
What's happening is you're taking money away from our ability to fix our parks and our playgrounds and our potholes and clear our snow, because that is our responsibility. We're supposed to advocate to the province to fix these problems.
Kitchener is following other communities who have similar bylaws like Waterloo, Hamilton, and London. And while Acorn is pleased to see the new rules, they said there is more work to be done to protect tenants that wasn't included in this bylaw.
Some of the stronger tenant protections like rent gap payments, temporary accommodations, and moving costs that we really pushed for and that really kind of help make these bylaws stronger and give tenants better protection didn't end up getting included.
City staff said the renovation bylaw is expected to come into effect at the beginning of 2027. Heather Centerin, CTV News, Kitchener.
Several personal support worker positions at the Tillsonburg Hospital in Oxford County are being eliminated. Officials say it's about updating their care model for patients with complex needs. CTV's Brian Bicknell reports.
There's a lot of tears still. It's still new and fresh, so we're still kind of taking it in and trying to figure out what to do with it.
Personal support worker Jennifer McMaster will soon be out of a job. She says she's one of 26 PSWs at Rural Roads Tillsonburg Memorial Hospital to receive notice her position will be eliminated as of September.
No one's happy with it. Nobody wants this. The nurses love us. They love our support. They know who to call. Like they're going to have a hard time once they have no support. So it's going to be rough.
McMaster says the job losses impact those with decades of experience as well as many who are relatively new to the field. In 2024, the Ford government announced a plan to train more than 32,000 new PSWs and nurses over 3 years, helping to fill a gap in long-term care in the province. The hospital group declined our request for an interview, instead directing us to a news release which essentially says that patients now require a more complex level of care than what PSWs can provide. In part, it says patients now require more frequent nursing assessments, complex medication management, and timely clinical interventions that fall within the scope of practice of nurses.
They knew him by first name, and they learned pretty quick what his needs were.
Area resident Dan Harbour says his elderly father recently left the hospital after being there for 5 months waiting for a long-term care bed.
He needed to be somewhere, and they didn't have a bed for him in a long-term care place, and he couldn't be at home because he needed 24-hour care, so the doctor thought it best that he be at the hospital.
In the meantime, the hospital group says it plans to release more information on changes to its model of care later this week.
I'm hoping they give us some options that we can maybe fight for a little more time.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
We're going to take a live look outside right now. This is just outside of our studios in Kitchener's Deer Ridge area. We've got some hazy sunshine to end the day, and that's kind of nice. It means we'll get to enjoy the evening hours, but overnight, that's when things are going to get a little lively once again. Ashley's back in just a moment to tell us about the next round of thunderstorms set to move in. Also ahead, we will head live to Petersburg, where a major holiday on the Sikh calendar is being marked right now. But next, a cut to the federal gas tax means lower prices are coming. So what prompted the Prime Minister to take action now? So I hear it's surprising that I slept through the storm last night.
I can't believe you slept through the storm. I spoke with many people in our newsroom today who all said Gosh, I was up early.
Well, I've calculated that may be the time that I'm still in REM sleep, so maybe that's what happened.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, it was difficult to get to sleep because there was so much lightning.
Okay.
It looked like there were strobe lights going off outside everywhere. It was
I
wild.
missed that. I was asleep before that all started. So maybe that was the difference. You worked a little later than I did last night, of course. And
we all saw a different side of that storm.
It is. And you know what? We aren't out of the woods, Tony. We are in for some wet weather. It is April showers after all. And certainly Mother Nature is living up to that rhyme because we are expecting a lot more rain. Let's take a look outside now. It is time to get outside and enjoy it while you can because the wet stuff is coming in around the midnight hour tonight. So we do have a little bit of a break right now. Some areas might see a spotty shower or two here and there, but essentially the rain has subsided at least until this next system rolls through. It will continue to be wet through most of the week, but let's start with a special weather statement issued by Environment Canada for this heavy rainfall that is expected to start over the midnight hour. 20 to 40 millimeters of additional rain through the overnight hours. Now, with the rain we see tomorrow and further into the week, that does not include this 20 to 40. So we are in still for a very wet few days. Low-lying areas, of course, at risk for flooding. So do take care if you are out and about. Stay away from rivers and waterways, especially if it's bridging the banks. Looking through our futurecast, a bit of cloud cover we're seeing right now. Now that's going to continue, but this is what we're looking at through the overnight hours. A big system with it bringing a couple of rounds of thunderstorms. We could see even some hail falling in these thunderstorms, so do take care if you have to be outside through the overnight hours, and if it does start to get messy out there, maybe take some shelter until it passes. We are looking at rain through most of the day, on and off through the afternoon, again through Wednesday into Thursday. So this is not going to just wrap up over the next few days. We are looking at this being a very spring-like condition for the next few weeks. Looking at our futurecast, what's happening across the country right now. It's 7 degrees on the west coast. It is raining in Vancouver, Prince George, and Victoria. On the other side of the Rockies, it's 5 in Edmonton. Looking through the prairie provinces, a little bit warmer, a little bit sunnier. 16 in Regina, 8 in Winnipeg. Thompson, quite cold, snowing at -7. In our nation's capital, 7 degrees and cloud cover. Bit of rain happening in Quebec. Toronto, 18 degrees and sunshine. But check out Windsor, still sitting at 25 degrees. Very warm there. St. John's 1. Here in Waterloo region, feeling closer to 18 degrees, so not quite as warm as south of us, but still very warm for this time of year. We're definitely above seasonal. Overnight temperatures only dipping to 11 degrees, so very warm for this time of year. Tomorrow, temperatures expected to also be warm. 21 degrees, the expected daytime high. For this time of year, 11 degrees is our expected high, so by comparison, we are well and truly above seasonal. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast for Waterloo region, as I said, showers are looking like they'll continue through to the end of the weekend, but look at Sunday. We are going to get back down to what we should be feeling around this time of year, so don't panic. We might even see some flurries through the overnight hours on Sunday. It is going to be another roller coaster week. Lambton, Kent, Essex, rainy for you as well. 20 for Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, 18 and 19 on Saturday. With temperatures kind of going all over the place in southern Georgian Bay. 7 degrees for Wednesday. Temperatures rising overnight to 15. 18 for Thursday. 17 for Friday. 20 on Saturday, but overnight dipping down to the freezing mark. So you're in for a little bit of a sticker shock over the weekend with temperatures in southern Georgian Bay. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in from Chantel near Homewood Avenue in Kitchener. She says, admittedly, I don't know enough about insects to know what this bug is, but it's definitely an interesting color. And I have to say, I don't know too much about bugs myself. So I turned to AI, Tony, and according to the web, it's an oil beetle, but perhaps someone from our audience at home can confirm, unless maybe, Tony, do you know?
I do not know. It's certainly a vibrant blue, though.
It is beautiful.
It's a gorgeous color.
But according, again, if it is the oil bug, we shouldn't touch them. They've got a residue on them that's not so nice for human skin. So maybe leave it alone if you do see one.
Yeah, keep the picture-taking distance. Don't get any closer than that. It's a cool photo, though, Chantal.
Very cool.
Thank you.
You.
All right, Ash, thanks. A complete sweep of 3 by-elections yesterday gave Prime Minister Carney's Liberals a majority government, but it also highlighted sliding support for the Conservative Party. CTV's Rachel Aiello has this recap.
After scoring an electoral hat trick, Prime Minister Mark Carney hit the ice today, recharged. Not the case for Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, who, after being dealt double-digit defeats in all 3 by-elections, felt compelled to assert he's not going anywhere.
I will continue to lead that fight in this House, across this country, and in the next election.
The Conservatives' vote share shrunk by more than 10% in all 3 ridings, even dropping to 3rd place in the downtown Toronto race.
I think for the Conservatives, the message that they should be receiving last night is whatever their strategy was doesn't work.
While Conservatives say these 3 ridings were not Poilievre's to win, they know the downward trend isn't a good sign for the party.
It leaves them in a less, well, let's say a weakened position relative to where they, have been.
If you were Mr. Poilievre, would you quit today?
I don't. That's an unfair question. I can't look into the heart of Mr. Poilievre. I respect him as a parliamentarian, as I do the other leaders of the other parties.
In closely watched Terrebonne, the Conservative decline boosted both Bloc Québécois and Liberal votes.
We lost because they had more votes than we did.
It was a slightly better night for the NDP. While support for Avi Lewis's party slipped in Quebec, their vote share was up in both Ontario ridings, including University Rosedale, where the NDP candidate placed 2nd.
I think that it's a massive opportunity for the NDP under Avi to say, if you want the government to worry about regular folks, we're the party to do that.
A Carney majority does give the opposition parties more time to improve their political fortunes. But if any more Conservative MPs cross the floor to the Liberals, the fate of Poilievre's political future may rest with his caucus, who today said they still support him. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
And hours after those majority wins, Mark Carney today temporarily suspended the federal gas tax. It means when you go to fill up beginning Monday, you will pay 10 cents less per liter. CTV's Abigail Beeman breaks down what finally convinced the Prime Minister to do this.
Fresh off 3 by-election wins, Mark Carney's first act as leader of a now majority government, suspending the federal gas excise tax.
It's real relief for you and your family at the end of the day.
Starting Monday, expect to see pump prices drop by 10 cents until Labor Day, 4 cents for diesel and aviation fuel also included.
This is a big decision in terms of fiscal expense, and so we balance that given the situation.
The Prime Minister pegs the cost at $2.4 billion, hoping things will improve in the Middle East before the end of summer. The war led to a massive gas price spike.
Not good enough. Canadians cannot afford to gas their tanks. We want all gas taxes eliminated for the rest of the year to save Canadian families $1,200.
It's a temporary quick fix.
This analyst says to lower prices long term, you need to lower demand, which means keeping prices high.
But the federal government has decided to go take the easy route and wave a 10-cent drop in front of the electorate. Good luck with that.
While many Canadians across the country tell us every cent counts.
It's disgusting. Poor people that need their cars to go to work every day or bring their kids to nursery. It's not fair.
Even just like when your car is at a red light for too long, you're like, oh my goodness, my gas is running out.
Oh, bravo to Mark Carney.
Next week is going to be 10 cents cheaper.
Right. That's why I got $15 today. Usually I fill it, but I think it's good, but I think it should be for all the time.
CTV News also reached out to the airlines, which all say relief is welcome. Air Canada said it can't predict future prices with a volatile Middle East. WestJet said more measures are needed for meaningful relief, while Porter said the drop will have an impact on overall operating costs and be represented as part of total airfare. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Are you willing to pay more for airline cabin improvements? Just ahead, a timely question about travel as a major carrier makes some costly changes. A push to close the gender pay gap with a rally in Toronto today. It marks Equal Pay Day, an event in its 50th year, pushing for the same thing by a coalition of groups: elimination of pay discrimination and more access to affordable childcare. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Equal pay! Equal pay! Today is the 104th day of 2026, a day that marks the extra time the average woman needs to work to earn as much as the average man.
We're here today because we believe in equal pay, simply put.
At a rally in downtown Toronto, members of the Ontario Equal Pay Coalition called on the government to do more to close the gender pay gap, specifically when it comes to the care economy, jobs that are typically held by women, including nurses, personal support workers, and educators.
We're still not giving childcare people what they need. The educators can't come today, so that's why I came.
In addition to calls for higher wages, the group also wants the Ontario government to deliver on its promise of $10 a day childcare. The federal government had set an April 2026 deadline of reaching that threshold. And while Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut have all met the $10 a day target, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia have not. The group says unaffordable childcare disproportionately burdens women.
There is no work without care work. No one can go to work if their children, their elders are not cared for.
According to Statistics Canada, women aged 25 to 54 earned 89 cents for every dollar earned by men in 2025, up from 81 cents in 1997. And while that pay gap has slowly shrunk over time, another one is growing. The gap between Canada's richest and poorest grew last year, driven in part by a weak job market and slow wage growth.
Statistics Canada says the high cost of living and economic uncertainty are impacting a large portion of the country, with nearly 3/4 of Canadians saying the rising price of essentials is straining their finances. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, Leanne Evans in studio with us now. We'll look at our top stories today. Leanne, the Crown closing its case today at the second-degree murder trial of Elfgard Oughtred.
Yeah, Tony, she's accused of killing her husband Gordon at their Brant County home in 2022. After her arrest more than a year and a half later in July 2024, she told a detective constable repeatedly she didn't do it, even as the officer laid out the evidence police had against her and how it revealed contradictions in what she had previously told police. We're expecting to hear the lawyers give their closing arguments on Wednesday. A care worker is facing criminal charges over the death of a resident at a supportive living home in St. Mary's. The 40-year-old woman died last month at a residence that is owned and operated by Community Living St. Mary's and area. A developmental support worker is now facing 2 charges. Police say this was an isolated incident and there's no further concerns for anyone in the care of Community Living.
And Leanne, on our website from our digital team tonight, details on a situation that unfolded over at Pearson Airport.
Right. A Caledon resident has been charged after multiple fraudulent passports were found concealed inside their sandals. The CBSA says the 44-year-old suspect was arrested in the situation. We will have more information on that story on our website. You can read exactly what happened, ctvnewskitchener.ca, or scan the QR code. Download the CTV News app. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thanks so much.
Thank you.
CTV's Leanne Evans in studio with us. Air Canada is introducing some new cabins that it says will change passengers' air travel experience. But the question is, how much are travelers willing to pay? CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin reports.
We're bringing the beauty of Canada to the sky.
Air Canada is calling it the most significant cabin redesign in its 90-year history. Passengers will catch a ride in the upgraded interiors, including the luxury of some lie-flat seats on long-haul flights. This aboard the company's new Airbus A321 XLR and Boeing 787-10 aircraft. The rollout will begin this summer, and all cabins will eventually see upgrades.
We've got 93 brand new aircraft on order, and the last time we came out with a new interior was about 10 years ago.
And the airline is borrowing from the national anthem and naming the project Glowing Hearted, leaning into Canadian themes. The comfy seat, big screens, larger overhead bins are a big investment, and the airline will no doubt need to pass on costs to travelers.
So it's not that those seats necessarily will cost more because of this, but we'll have more premium seats, which is really good for our business.
Still, it could squeeze out lower-cost seats. But analysts say the market is split between low-cost carriers and luxury brands. And Air Canada is finding its niche on some aircraft.
You know, people are buying premium services. They're buying the premium tickets. So, you know, I think that they're kind of figuring out that, you know, the cattle call that we have in the back of the bus is something that they want to stay away from.
Privacy wings, big screens. Some frequent flyers say paying extra for extra luxury is the future of flying.
If you got a little bit more comfort and you know you're going to go that way, then yeah, that's the way you go.
Well, it just depends on what kind of budget you're on. Yeah, I can't afford first class or business.
Air Canada calls it a reimagined travel experience, and some analysts say the overhaul was long overdue. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A new view of a mission that brought the world together. Later on CTV News, an up-close look at the official homecoming for Canadian Jeremy Hansen and his Artemis II crewmates. A really up-close look at this later. Well, today is a major holiday on the Sikh calendar. Celebrations are underway for Vaisakhi, with communities across Waterloo region coming together for prayer, reflection, and festivities. CTV's Spencer Turcotte is live for us tonight in Petersburg, where the Golden Triangle Sikh Association is hosting a large gathering, Spencer.
Well, Tony, definitely a vibrant scene here with members of the community taking part in prayers and celebrations throughout the day. But before we dive in, here's a little more on what this holiday is all about.
But mostly Sikhs, they celebrate the creation or foundation of Khalsa. This was the order created by 10th Guru of Sikhs, which was Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. So he created Khalsa in order to give us a discrete identity, and also at the same time the qualities that they wished to instill was standing up for equality, standing up for justice.
And visitors are being welcomed to take part in or learn more about Sikh traditions. As you heard, this holiday highlights the religion's values like equality, service, and community. Organizers say events like this are not only about celebrating their faith, but also about opening their doors to the wider community. And of course, there is a big emphasis on cuisine when it comes to Vaisakhi.
Because langar is in any Gurudwara Sahib. Langar is everywhere, you know. 24/7, you know. What time, what day you come, you can have food, you know.
It's definitely going to be a vegetarian meal and more of like Punjabi traditional vegetarian meal. Something that you may find in all over different Gurudwaras.
And the final prayer will take place tonight around 9 p.m. So, Tony, if you haven't had a chance to stop by and celebrate yet, it's not too late.
All right, Spencer, thank you. And Spencer will have more on that tonight at 11:30. And we'll have more news here on CTV News at 6 in just a moment. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Well, we know by now that more rain is on the way, but also very warm temperatures. I think you might be surprised just how warm when we're waking up tomorrow morning. Those details after this break. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by the Big Bang Theory. Then Will Trent, won't he, at 8 o'clock. RJ Decker followed at 9. And cap your night off with High Potential at 10.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, let's join Leanne one more time for a look at something we'll have coming up later tonight. Leanne.
Well, Tony, thousands of residents near the Ottawa area were stopped in their tracks this afternoon when the earth trembled as an earthquake struck 20 kilometers northeast of Shawville, Quebec. No damage reported, but still, of course, a scary incident for some who say their houses shook. So far, the Canadian Hazards Information Service says it's received about 2,000 reports from people who say they felt the quake. So we'll have the latest on that at 11:30. Tony.
We sure will. Leanne, thank you so much. And Ash, I got to tell you, my phone was blowing up. My mom and my sister both texted me to say they felt it. And it was one of those earthquakes where, you know, it wasn't kind of being passed off as a little earthquake. Like, they felt it. Pets were scared.
And they do live a little closer, of course, than we are here in the region. I didn't feel it at the studio this afternoon. I only found out about it later this afternoon. But, you know, seismic activity, you never know.
It was quite an experience. So as if we haven't had enough to keep track of with thunderstorms. What a month of April.
Let's take a look at our wake-up weather board, because it's going to be a warm start to the day. Now, around 6 a.m., we're going to get a little break in thunderstorms. So it doesn't mean it's going to stop. We are looking at another round, maybe moving through around 10 a.m., but 14 degrees by 6 a.m., 17 by 10, Tony. So it is going to be a very warm start to your Wednesday. I almost said Thursday, but it's Wednesday tomorrow.
We can hope. Finally, we've got some new video showing the moment that the hatch of the Orion capsule opened, welcoming Canadian Jeremy Hansen and the Artemis II crew back to Earth.
Say it. Let's go!
Cheers were heard from the recovery crew and from inside as fresh air filled the capsule for the first time in nearly 10 days. The crew was greeted with enthusiastic handshakes.
This is so cool. The celebrations came moments after the capsule streaked back to Earth at blistering speeds before parachuting softly to what NASA called a bullseye landing.
Incredible.
I watched it live with my dad. He came over. We had a little watch party, and it was awesome.
I was doing something else at the time, but I caught up later on a couple of hours delay. Wow, what a moment. We're not going to see something else like that again for a while.
No, not for a while, but hopefully sooner than the last.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you at 11:30. Have a good night.